least 38 killed as Azerbaijan airline plane crashes in Kazakhstan. Hamas and Israel accuse each other of delaying ceasefire deal. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for tuning in. I'm SAHIH and you're watching World Today. An Azerbaijan Airlines passenger jet crashed on Wednesday in western Kazakhstan after travelling far off course, killing 38 of the 67 people on board. The Embraer 190 aircraft that was supposed to fly northwest from the Azerbaijan capital Baku to the city of Grozny in Chechnya, but instead flew across the Caspian Sea and went down near the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan. The plane's course showed it flying away from its normal route, crossing the Caspian Sea and then circling over the area where it eventually crashed near Aktau. Azerbaijan Airlines reported that 67 people were on board, 62 passengers and 5 crew members. The Kazakh Transport Ministry said the plane was carrying 37 nationals from Azerbaijan, 6 from Kazakhstan, 3 from Kyrgyzstan and 16 from Russia. The Kazakh Emergency Situation Ministry said its staff put out a fire which broke out when the plane crashed. Kazakhstan said it had opened an investigation into the cause of the crash, which was not immediately clear. It said an investigative team led by the Deputy Prosecutor General of Azerbaijan has been dispatched to Kazakhstan and is working at the crash site. Kazakhstan's prosecutor in charge of transportation cases, Timur Suleymanov, said the plane's flight data recorder had been found. On a related note, Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed condolences over the crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines passenger jet.
Основные усилия России, как разбился самолет, есть погибшие, раненых много. И как мы сейчас только с вами и говорили, я от вашего имени хочу выразить соболезнования семьям погибших и всем пострадавшим. Будем надеяться на их выздоровление.
He added Russian Emergency Situations Ministry had been sent to Aktau with medical personnel and other equipment. The Russian president said this during his welcoming speech at an informal summit of CIS leaders at the Igora ski resort in the Leningrad region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday denounced as inhumane an attack from Russia, which launched over 170 missiles and drones on his war-torn country's power grid on Christmas Day, killing an energy worker. The country woke up at 5:30 a.m. local time to an air raid alarm, followed shortly by Air Force reports that Russia had launched caliber cruise missiles from the Black Sea. This was the 13th large-scale strike on Ukraine's energy system this year, the latest in Russia's campaign, targeting the power grid during winter. Russia, meanwhile, said 5 people had died in Ukrainian strikes and from a falling drone in the border region of Kurds and in North Ossetia in the Caucasus. Ukraine said its air force downed 58 out of 79 Russian-launched missiles. It did not, however, down the 2 North Korean-made KN-23 ballistic missiles launched by Russia. Kiev also said a Russian missile went through Moldovan and Romanian airspace, but Romania said it detected no such violation. Meanwhile, Moldova, which has expressed solidarity with Ukraine since the war, confirmed a violation of its airspace later Wednesday. Hamas and Israel traded accusations on Wednesday over delays in finalizing a ceasefire and hostage release deal after both had reported progress in the latest round of Gaza truce talks. Indirect negotiations mediated by Qatar, Egypt and the United States have taken place in Doha in recent days, rekindling hopes for an agreement between the two warring parties that has so far proven elusive. On Wednesday, both sides accused the other of throwing up roadblocks. Fighting, meanwhile, raged in the Gaza Strip, where rescuers said Israeli strikes on Wednesday killed at least 20 people. Palestinian freedom fighter group Hamas said in a statement that the ceasefire and prisoner exchange negotiations are continuing in a serious manner. However, it added that Israel has set new conditions which have delayed reaching an agreement. Israel swiftly refuted the accusation, saying it was Hamas that was creating new obstacles to an agreement. Efforts to strike a deal in numerous rounds of indirect talks have repeatedly failed over key stumbling blocks. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said on Wednesday that Kurdish forces in Syria will either lay down their weapons or be buried amid hostilities with Turkey-backed Syrian fighters since the fall of Bashar al-Assad this month. Following Assad's departure, Ankara has repeatedly insisted that the Kurdish YPG must disband, asserting that the group has no place in Syria's future. Erdogan said the change in Syria's leadership has left the country's main Kurdish factions on the back foot. Turkey views on the Kurdish YPG, the main component of the United States Allied Syrian Democratic Forces (SDF), as an extension of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK), which has waged an insurgency against the Turkish state since 1984. The PKK is designated a terrorist organization by Turkey, the United States and the European Union. Ankara has repeatedly called on its NATO ally Washington and others to stop supporting the YPG. Erdogan also said Turkey would soon open its consulate in Aleppo and added Ankara expected an increase in traffic at its borders in the summer of next year as some of the millions of Syrian migrants its hosts begin returning. Bombardment by the Pakistani army in Afghanistan's eastern Paktika province on Tuesday killed at least 46 people, most of whom were children and women. The Afghan Taliban has vowed to retaliate against their neighbour. Deputy spokesman Hamdullah Fitrat on Wednesday said the bombing occurred at 4 locations in Afghanistan, adding that 6 people were also injured. Pakistani government and military officials did not immediately respond to requests for comment. A Pakistani official with knowledge of the matter but declining to be named informed that Pakistan had carried out airstrikes again at a camp of Pakistan Taliban TTP group. A major TTP attack in Pakistan's South Waziristan area, which directly borders the location of the alleged camp targeted in Afghanistan, killed 16 Pakistani security personnel on Saturday. The neighbours have a strained relationship, with Pakistan saying that several TTP attacks that have occurred in its country have been launched from Afghan soil, a charge the Afghan Taliban denies. South Korea's suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol on Wednesday did not respond to a second summon by anti-corruption authorities who, alongside with prosecutors, are investigating his short-lived martial law decree issued early this month. Yoon had not appeared for questioning as of 10 a.m. local time on Christmas Day, as requested by the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials. He also ignored their first summon last week. The agency said it would continue waiting for Yoon for a few more hours on Wednesday and would not seek an arrest warrant in the near future, as it is still reviewing the case. Yoon was impeached by Parliament earlier this month over his brief imposition of martial law and faces a constitutional court trial on whether to remove him from office or restore his presidential powers. Yoon faces impeachment and criminal charges of insurrection, which could result in life imprisonment or even the death penalty, in a drama that has shocked democratic South Korea's allies around the world. The Corruption Investigation Office is expected to decide in the coming days whether to issue a third summon or ask a court to grant an arrest warrant to compel Yoon to appear for questioning. Japan, China working towards lifting Japanese seafood import ban. That and more coming up next. Japan and China have agreed to work towards lifting a ban on the import of Japanese seafood products during talks in Beijing on Wednesday. Japanese Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya said that his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi agreed that China and Japan would implement an agreement reached in September that would set a path towards restarting seafood shipments from Japan to China.
日本産水産物の輸入規制につきましては、9月の発表を 両国できちんと実証していくことで一致をいたしました。私から日本産水産物の輸入規制の撤廃を早期に実現するように求めたところでございます。
A major sticking point in bilateral ties between the two countries has been Japan's discharge of wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant. Beijing had strongly opposed and condemned Tokyo's decision and tightened inspections of Japanese goods in response. China and Japan are key trading partners, but increased friction over disputed territories and military spending has frayed ties in recent years. Iwaya also said he raised Japanese concerns over Chinese military activity in the East China Sea. An oil slick from two damaged tankers off the coast of southern Russia this month may have polluted up to 200,000 tons of soil. On 15 December, two Russian oil tankers, the Volgo-Neft 212 and the Volgo-Neft 239, were hit by a storm in the Kerch Strait, with one sinking and the other running aground. According to Russian authorities, the ships were carrying 9,200 tons of fuel oil and around 40% of it may have spilled into the sea. President Vladimir Putin last week called it an ecological disaster. Fuel oil was found along dozens of kilometers of beach, with the seaside resort of Anapa particularly hard hit. The port city of Kerch, in an annexed Crimea, also saw patches of fuel oil arrive on its shores. Regional Governor Vyanemin Kondratyev said that last night almost everything had been cleaned up, but during the night the wave deposited fuel oil again. The specialist Delphi Center said on Sunday 10 dolphins may also have been killed by the oil spill, adding that the tests were needed to confirm the cause of death. Syria's new authorities torched a large stockpile of drugs on Wednesday, including 1 million pills of Captagon, whose industrial-scale production flourished under ousted President Bashar al-Assad. Captagon is a banned amphetamine-like stimulant that became Syria's largest export during the country's more than 13-year civil war, effectively turning it into a narco state under Assad. Authorities set fire to a cage of cannabis, the painkiller tramadol, and around 50 bags of pink and yellow Captagon pills in a security compound formerly belonging to Assad's forces in the capital's Kafr Souza district. Captagon has flooded the black market across the region in recent years, with oil-rich Saudi Arabia a major destination. Authorities destroyed the stocks of alcohol, cannabis, Captagon, and hashish in order to protect Syrian society and cut off smuggling routes used by Assad family businesses. Syria's new rulers have not yet to spell out their policy on alcohol, which has long been widely available in the country. Suriname's fugitive former president, Desi Bouterse, has died aged 79, the country's government said on Wednesday, almost a year after he fled authorities to avoid jail following his conviction over the murder of 15 political activists in 1982. Foreign Minister Albert Ramdin said the government has been informed through the family and its own investigation of the passing Bouterse. The Suriname government said the former leader died on Tuesday without confirming where or even which country. Last week, Suriname's authorities raided his home, where supporters gathered to pay their respects on Wednesday morning but did not find him. Brutus dominated politics in the tiny South American country for decades, leading a coup in 1980 and finally leaving office in 2020. In 2019, he and 6 others were convicted for their role in the 1982 murders of 15 leading government critics, including lawyers, journalists, union leaders, soldiers, and university professors, for which Brutus received a 20-year prison sentence. Following years of legal back and forth, Brutus was ordered to report to prison in January, but he did not show up on the appointed date. 33 people were killed and 15 injured following a prison riot in Mozambique's capital, Maputo. The country's police general commander, Bernardino Rafael, said the civil unrest was linked to October's disputed election. A decision on Monday by Mozambique's top court confirming long-ruling party Frelimo's victory in the election has sparked fresh nationwide protests by opposition groups and their supporters who say the vote was rigged.
Nesta confrontação, resultou em 33 óbitos na confrontação direta com os reclusos nas imediações da cadeia central, 15 feridos. Nas operações seguintes de busca e de recuperação de alguns bens pertencentes aos serviços penitenciários, conseguiu-se deter ou recuperar ou recapturar 150 reclusos que neste momento estão em algumas esquadras, mas a serem devolvidos para a cadeia central.
While Rafael blamed protests outside the prison for encouraging the riot, Justice Minister Helena Kida said that the unrest started inside the prison and had nothing to do with protests outside. The identities of those killed and injured were unclear. About 1,534 people escaped from the prison in the incident, but 150 have not been recaptured. Rafael added that there were prison break attempts at 2 other prisons. 7 people were injured in New York City on Christmas Day when a taxi jumped a sidewalk and hit pedestrians outside a Macy's department store after the cab driver suffered a medical episode. Police said on Wednesday that the incident took place in Midtown Manhattan near Macy's flagship store in Herald Square, near the corner of West 34th Street and Avenue of the Americas or 6th Avenue. The store, with its elaborately decorated display window, is a magnet for tourists and native New Yorkers around the holidays. In addition to the 58-year-old taxi driver, the injured included a 9-year-old boy, 2 women aged 49 and 4 other women aged 19, 37 and 41. Police added that a 49-year-old woman with a leg injury, the 9-year-old boy who suffered a cut, and the 41-year-old woman who sustained an injury to her head were taken to hospital. The remaining 3 pedestrians declined medical attention, according to police, which added that all injuries were non-life-threatening. Media images of the cab showed a heavily damaged vehicle with broken parts and dents all over it. Nizivo, a town of around 10,000 inhabitants with surrounding hamlets, has declared a state of natural disaster, as have several others across Bosnia, particularly in the northern half of the country. All homes in Nizivo are without electricity, and all access to the town is blocked by a heavy layer of snow exceeding 100 centimeters in some places. Several dozen Bosnian towns and villages have been cut off by the snowstorm, with many cars stuck on the roads, which have become rapidly impassable since the storm began on Sunday night. On Wednesday, a team of mountain rescuers and a local NGO rescued around 100 people, including women and children, who had been stranded for hours in around 50 cars in the village of Vortoce near Bihak. More than 100,000 households are still without electricity in the country, some for more than 72 hours. Throughout the Balkans, authorities issued travel warnings as snow drifts forced the closure of major routes. The officials also advised citizens of staying home and avoiding travel where possible. Still Still to come in sports, Yeo K Bin named as Team LZJ new head coach.
Melaksanakan misi, mempertahan maruah, mencipta secara setia pertemuan, takkan jenta dengan asalkan memburu peluang untuk segakkan satu perjuangan, satu suara akan yang dicanai dan dalam memburu takkan keaduan, kekuatan bicara, membebaskan sampai kemenangan.
Lee Zijia's team LZJ has announced former national shuttler Yeo K Bin as the team's new head coach. Team LZJ described K Bin as a coach with extensive experience at both the local and international levels. Team LZJ described K Bin, a former international for Malaysia, brings a experienced coach locally and abroad to assist Lee Zijia's progress into the next phase of his career. For the record, Kai Bin was a runner-up at the 1998 World Junior Championship in Melbourne and won the bronze medal at the 2007 Asian Championship in Johor Bahru. Earlier this month, Team LZJ confirmed that its coaching director Wong Tat Meng would be leaving the team to embark on a new phase of his coaching career. However, Tat Meng, who guided Zijia to win a bronze medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics, will continue serving the team until his contract officially ends on December 31st. Kai Bin is set to become the third coach to take charge of Zijia's journey, succeeding Tat Meng and Indonesia's Indra Wijaya following the 2021 All-England champions' decision to turn professional in 2022. In tennis, world number one Aryna Sabalenka says she is fresh and ready to go in her bid for a third straight Australian Open title, warning she has plenty of room for improvement. The 26-year-old enjoyed a sensational 2024, reaching 7 finals and winning 4 titles, including the US Open. Her year was kick-started by defending her Australian Open crown, beating China's high-flying Zheng Qinwen in the final. Should she win it again, she will become the first woman to claim 3 straight Melbourne Park single titles since Martina Hingis between 1997 and 1999.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be back. I have a lot of great memories from here and just can't wait to start playing.
On Iga Swiatek's recent doping suspension, Sabalenka said people are used to overreacting and that she would not like to speak more about the matter. Swiatek arrived in Australia to compete with Poland at the United Cup, having revealed last month that she had accepted a 1-month suspension after testing positive for the banned substance trimetazidine TMZ. The Pole tested positive in an out competition sample in August, but the International Tennis Integrity Agency accepted that it was caused by contamination of a medication melatonin, which Swiatek had been taking for jet lag and sleep issues. In cricket, the Champions Trophy will be held in Pakistan and Dubai after host Pakistan selected the UAE as a neutral venue for their rivals India. Holders Pakistan will host an ICC event for the first time in 28 years. The 8-team competition begins on 19 February in Karachi and wraps up the final on 9th March, featuring a total of 15 matches across Pakistan and Dubai. Tournament matches will be held in Rawalpindi, Lahore and Karachi. Each venue in the country is set to host 3 group stage games, with Lahore also staging the second semi-final, unless India qualify, in which case the match will be played in Dubai. Due to strained political ties, India haven't toured Pakistan since 2008, and the Indian Cricket Board BCCI, citing government advice, has refused to send its team for the Champions Trophy. The two sides now meet only in multi-teams event, with Pakistan last visiting India for the 50-year-old World Cup. The ICC said last week that the matches between India and Pakistan in tournaments from 2024 to 2027 organised in either nation would be played at neutral venues. Defending champions Pakistan face New Zealand in the Group A opener in Karachi on 19 February, while India meet Bangladesh in Dubai a day later. Competitors in the Vendée Globe single-handed round the world yacht race took a few moments to enjoy Christmas Day on Wednesday. The sailors opened presents which had been given to them at the start of the race back on 10th November in France, as no outside contact is allowed on their yacht during the race. The leader, Johan Ricom of France, on board Berita RTM held a 99.1 nautical mile lead over his compatriot Charlie Delling sailing Massive Sante Previonce with another Frenchman, Sébastien Simon, almost 600 nautical miles further back.
Regardez-moi, tous ces beaux cadeaux emmenés, apportés par le Père Noël.
Une médaille en chocolat. Alors je sais pas comment je dois le prendre, la médaille en chocolat. En tout cas celle-là on peut croquer dedans parce qu'elle est vraiment en chocolat. Donc, merci. J'ai eu un Twix. Ça c'est un petit private joke de souvenir de vacances. On en mangeait pas mal en vacances. Une magnifique carte, une belle carte de Noël. Des beaux drapeaux pour la déco. Un petit côté Everest, je trouve. Donc papa, merci.
The leaders have just passed Cape Horn in South America and are now entering the South Atlantic. That wraps up World Today this time around. In our top story, at least 38 killed as Azerbaijan airline plane crashes in Kazakhstan. I'm Syed Samshuddin, Malaysia Madani. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for watching.
Rangkuman berita utama.
Esensi ringkas, padat dan benar. Saksikan setiap hari Kanta 744 mendahului berita.